Parents, there's a moment in this journey, and it won't come all at once, but you will start to notice something quietly changing, not in your child, but in you. And at first, it's subtle, so subtle that you might even question it. But then you realize you didn't react the way that you normally would have. Something that would have pulled you in emotionally before you paused, and something that would have triggered you before you feel more steady than expected. And you may not even have the language for it yet, but something is different. And I want to help you see this clearly because this is not random. This is the work of God in you. This is what happens when you begin to let go, when you begin to trust, when you begin to respond differently. God starts doing a deeper work beneath the surface. And it shows up in very real ways. For instance, your reactions begin to slow down. You still feel things. Let me say that clearly. You'll still feel concern. You'll still feel emotion. You'll still have the thoughts, but you're not being led by them the same way. There's space now, space between what you feel and how you respond, where before it may have looked like immediate reacting, quick responding, emotional engagement, but now it looks more like pausing, processing, and responding with intention. And that shift, that's growth. In scripture, Proverbs 29 and 11, it says, "A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise person quietly holds it back." You're not suppressing, you're learning to hold and respond wisely. And then you learn to stop taking everything personal. This one is big because in this journey, it's easy to internalize your child's behavior. It's easy to feel like it reflects on you, or it's something you caused, or it's something you need to fix. But as God begins to work in you, you start to separate who you are from what they're choosing. And that doesn't make you cold, it actually makes you healthier because now you're not reacting from a wounded identity, you're responding from a grounded place. And then your urgency begins to settle. Before, everything may have felt immediate, like something had to be addressed right now in the moment, or fixed quickly, talked through immediately, or handled before it got worse. But now there's a shift. You still care, but you don't feel the same pressure to act on everything because now you're beginning to trust. Not everything is yours to handle in the moment. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. And it says, "To everything there is a season." And part of growth is recognizing timing. Your thoughts will begin to come into alignment. And this is where it goes even deeper because it's not just your outward responses that's changing, it's your internal dialogue where your mind used to go. What if this never changes? What if things get worse? Now you start catching those thoughts early and you start interrupting them and replacing them with truth, not perfectly, but intentionally. Another scripture, 2 Corinthians 10 and 5, where it says, "We take every thought captive." Let me say it again. We take every thought captive. And that's exactly what you're beginning. and learning to do. You're no longer letting your mind run unchecked. You're bringing it back to truth. And then your identity begins to stabilize. This is one of the deepest shifts that you will feel. Because when your identity is tied to your child's choices, your peace will rise and fall with what they do. But as God works in you, He begins to root your identity somewhere else, not in their behavior or their decisions or their timeline, but in Him. So now you're not asking, what does it say about me as a parent? You're anchored in, I know who I am, regardless of what this look like right now. And that changes how you carry everything. Here's what I want you to see. None of this is loud. None of this is instant. None of this is something others may even notice right away. But it's real and it's foundational. Because now you're not being pulled by every situation, you're anchored. This is where I want to guide you practically. Pay attention to the small shifts, don't overlook them. The pause you took, the thought you redirected, the moment you didn't react, that matters. That's evidence that something is changing. So instead of focusing only on what hasn't changed yet, start acknowledging what has. You might even say, God, I see what you're doing in me. Help me to continue to grow in this. Because growth that's recognized is growth that continues. Here's the deeper insight I want to leave you with. God is not just preparing you to get through this, He's preparing you to carry it well. And what He's building in you right now, it's steadiness, your clarity, and your emotional strength. It's going to shape how you show up moving forward. And what God begins to give you in this place is something many parents are waiting for, even if they don't realize it yet. So, in the next video, we're going to talk about that peace before the situation changes.